I used to joke that I was cheating on my job by having an affair with my wife. That's not a joke. That was my reality. And it destroyed my marriage. Hello, I'm Dr. Felix Becker. And today we're talking about something that matters just as much as your choice of specialty: your relationships. Because medicine will take everything from you if you let it, including the people you love. Today, I'm going to coach you through how to not let that happen. Welcome to In Search of 42. Here's what nobody tells you about medicine. Your career will try to destroy your relationships. Not intentionally, not maliciously, but through sheer demand, through exhaustion, through unavailability, through the mental and emotional energy it requires. Medicine is a jealous partner. It wants all of you. And if you're not intentional about protecting your relationships, they will die. I have been divorced twice. Both times, medicine played a role. I have lost friendships. I have struggled to connect with people outside of medicine. I have had to rebuild my approach to relationships from the ground up. And now, as a certified life coach, I help other physicians navigate these same challenges. Today, I want to share what I have learned, not just from my failures, but from what's working now, from the relationship I'm in that's actually sustainable, from the friendships I have built, from the coaching work I do with physicians struggling with the same things. This isn't about to be a lecture about what you're doing wrong. This is going to be a coaching session. Practical advice, real strategies, things you can implement today. Because your relationships matter. They matter for your happiness. They matter for your mental health. They matter for your ability to sustain a career in medicine. Let's talk about how to protect them. Let me start with my first marriage. We met while I was in medical school. We got married during residency. She was a social worker when I met her, and then she went to nursing school while I was in residency. So this was a relationship with another medical professional, someone who understood the demands, someone who got it. And it still didn't work. Why? Because I was never around. I used to joke I was cheating on my job by having an affair with my wife. But that wasn't really a joke. That was the reality. My job was my primary relationship. My wife was the affair. The thing I fit in when I had time, which wasn't very often. She lived her life, I lived mine. We grew apart, and looking back, was there anything I could have done differently? Could I have saved that marriage? Honestly, I don't think so. It was structurally impossible given the demands of residency. I was working 80 to 100 hours a week. I was exhausted when I was home. I was emotionally depleted. I had nothing left to give. And she needed a partner. Not someone who was physically present occasionally, but mentally absent. Now, we have 2 kids together, and co parenting is fine, but the marriage was doomed from the start. Not because we didn't love each other, but because residency doesn't allow for a real partnership. That's the harsh reality. My second marriage was different. She was not a medical professional, and that created a different set of problems. She could never relate to my struggles with medicine. I would come home exhausted, depleted, traumatized by what I'd seen, and I couldn't explain it to her, not in a way she could understand. She didn't get why I was so tired. She didn't get why I couldn't just leave work at work. She didn't get the emotional toll. And I felt isolated. Even when I was with her, I was alone because she couldn't understand what I was going through, and I couldn't make her understand. Our relationship lasted about 2 or 3 years, and our marriage only lasted a few months. It was isolating, and it just didn't work. Now, I'm engaged to someone I've been with for almost 3 years, and this time it's different. Why? What's changed? Well, first, she's a professional counselor. Her training helps. She understands struggles. She understands mental health. She understands emotional labor. She gets it in a way my previous partners didn't. Second, we're both geographically bound. We're both stuck in Ohio because of our kids and our ex-partners. That shared experience helps. We understand each other's constraints. We're both anxious and ready to move on with our lives once the kids are out of the house. We share similar parenting struggles, similar geographic frustrations. That creates empathy, that creates understanding. Third, I'm more intentional this time. I've worked on myself a lot over the last few years. I've been in therapy. I've done ketamine therapy. I've adjusted my medications. I've built a coaching business that taught me about relationships. I'm not the same person I was in my first 2 marriages. I have learned. I have grown. Fourth, we prioritize the relationship differently. We have date nights. We put them on the calendar. The same way I would schedule a dentist appointment and put it on my calendar so I don't forget, we schedule date nights. It takes effort, but the relationship requires it. Fifth, I am working on communication. I have always struggled with communicating in relationships. I tend to shut down. I tend to avoid difficult conversations. I tend to assume people know what I'm thinking or feeling, but that doesn't work. So I'm trying to be better at it. I'm trying to actually talk about things, to express what I need, to listen to what she needs. It's hard work, but it's necessary work. This relationship feels different. It feels sustainable, and that's because we're both intentional about making it work. Now, let me talk about dating as a physician, because it's complicated. Pulling the doctor card when dating can either be a good thing or a bad thing. Some dates will see physicians as having lots of money, and they'll expect a lot in return for it. They'll expect you to pay for everything. They'll expect expensive dinners, expensive gifts, expensive trips. They're not interested in you as a person. They're just interested in your paycheck. Other dates will see it that doctors are never available, and they won't be interested because they know you won't have time for them. For me personally, I have always tried to play it close to the chest. I wanted my dates to see me as a person, not as a doctor, because I don't derive my personal identity from being a doctor. Being a doctor is what I do, not who I am. But eventually, it does come up, and you have to navigate it. Here's how I have screened for people who cared about me versus my paycheck. Communication and patterns. Does your date always expect you to pay for everything? Or are they independent enough to also pay for activities, food, events? I once went on a date who expected me to pay for her mani-pedi because I was a doctor. No, that's a red flag. That's someone who sees dollar signs, not a person. Look for independence. Look for someone who has their own life, their own career, their own interests. Look for someone who wants to be with you, not with your bank account. That's how you find genuine connection. So, should you date inside of medicine or outside of medicine? Well, that's a personal choice, and there are trade-offs either way. When looking at dating inside of medicine, the pros are your partner understands the demands of the job. It's relatable. You don't have to explain why you're exhausted. You don't have to explain why you missed dinner because a patient was coding. You don't have to explain the emotional toll. They get it because they live it too. Now, the cons are you never get to escape medicine. When you're both in medicine, all you talk about is medicine. You decompress together by talking about your day, which means you're always in the medical world. For those in love with medicine, this may be worthwhile. But if you're looking for something more, if you need an escape from medicine, this does not provide it. It's a bit incestuous. You're in the same world, the same circles, the same culture. There's no fresh perspective. So, what about dating outside of medicine? The pros are that it opens your eyes to worlds outside of medicine. It broadens your views. It gives you perspective. It can eventually mean other opportunities outside of medicine even. It makes you a more well-rounded person, which probably makes you a better physician, perhaps even more relatable to your patients. But the cons are that your partner doesn't understand your demands. There's a lot of explaining that needs to happen. They don't get why you're so tired. They don't get why you can't just leave work at work. Maybe they only see the money. They see the prestige, but they don't see the cost. And that can create resentment. It can create isolation. So which one is better? Neither. Both. It really depends on you. What do you need from a relationship? If you need understanding and relatability, then date inside of medicine. If you need escape and perspective, then date outside of medicine. Either way, you need to be intentional. You need to communicate. You need to prioritize the relationship. Because whether your partner is a doctor or not, medicine will try to destroy the relationship, and you have to fight to protect it. The biggest challenge for physician relationships is time. You simply don't have enough of it, especially during training. You're working 80 to 100 hours a week as a resident. You're on call, you're exhausted, you're emotionally depleted, and your partner needs time with you. They need quality time, not just you being physically present while being mentally absent. They need you to be engaged, to be present, to be emotionally available. And that's really hard when you're running on empty. Here's what I tell the physicians I coach. You have to schedule relationship time, the same way you schedule clinical time, the same way you schedule studying, the same way you schedule everything else. Put it on the calendar. Date nights, quality time, phone calls, texts, check-ins, whatever it is, schedule it and protect it. Treat it like a dentist appointment. You wouldn't skip your dentist appointment without rescheduling. Don't skip your relationship time without rescheduling. Yes, emergencies happen. Yes, patients code. Yes, you will have to cancel sometimes, but reschedule. Make it up. Show your partner that they are a priority. Because if you don't prioritize the relationship, it will die. Not dramatically, not with a big fight. It will just fade. You'll grow apart. You'll become roommates instead of partners. And one day, you will wake up and realize you've lost something important. So schedule the time, protect the time, show up for the time. Let me talk specifically about physician couples, two doctors in a relationship, or a doctor and another healthcare professional. There are unique challenges. Challenge one, limited time together. You're both working insane hours. You're both on call. You're both exhausted. Finding time to actually be together is nearly impossible. And when you do have time together, you're both depleted. You're both trying to decompress. You both want to talk about your struggles, and you never get to escape medicine. Challenge two, geographic constraints. The couples match for residency. Finding two jobs in the same city as attendings. One person's career often has to take a back seat. That can create resentment. It can create imbalance. Challenge three, competitive dynamics. If you're both high achievers, there can be competition. Who's more successful? Who's making more money? Who's getting more recognition? Those things are toxic for relationships. Challenge four, no outside perspective. You're both in the same world. You both see things through the medical lens. You don't have anyone bringing a different perspective. That can create tunnel vision. But look, there are benefits too. Benefit one, a deep understanding. Your partner gets it. They understand the demands. They understand the stress. They understand the emotional toll. You don't have to explain. Benefit two, shared values. You both value service. You both value helping people. You both understand sacrifice. That creates alignment. Benefit three, flexibility. You both understand when the other has to cancel plans. You both understand when the other is on call. There's built-in empathy. So physician couples can work, but you have to be intentional. You have to schedule time together. You have to create boundaries around work. You have to find ways to escape medicine together. And you have to avoid competition. You are partners, not competitors. Now, if you're a physician dating or married to a non-medical partner, here's what they need to understand. Number one, the emotional toll is real. Medicine is emotionally exhausting. You're dealing with people's lives. You're seeing suffering, trauma, death. You cannot just leave that at work. It stays with you. Your partner needs to understand that. They need to understand that when you come home quiet and withdrawn, it's not about them. It's what you saw that day. Number two, the exhaustion is real. You're not being lazy when you don't want to go out on your day off. You're not being antisocial when you don't want to go to that party. You're exhausted, physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted. Your partner needs to understand that rest is necessary, that downtime is necessary, that you can't be on all the time. Number three, the schedule is unpredictable, right? You can't always control when you have to work. You can't always predict when you'll be done. You can't always make it to events on time. That's not because you don't care. That's because medicine is unpredictable. Your partner needs to understand that. They need to be flexible. They need to not take it personally when you're late or have to cancel. Number four, the money isn't free. Yes, physicians make good money, but that money comes at a cost. It comes from years of debt. It comes from years of delayed income. It comes from sacrificing your 20s and 30s. Your partner needs to understand that the money isn't a windfall. It's compensation for what you have given up. And here's what you need to do as the physician in that relationship. Number one, explain. Your partner isn't psychic. They can't read your mind. You have to explain what you're going through. You have to help them understand, not in medical jargon, but in human terms. Number two, prioritize. Your partner needs to feel valued. They need to feel like a priority. Schedule time with them. Show up for them. Be present when you're with them. Number three, create boundaries. You need boundaries between work and home. You can't bring work home every day. You can't be on call mentally all the time. You need to find ways to transition, to leave work at work, to be present at home. Number four, appreciate. Your partner is sacrificing too. They're dealing with your schedule. They're dealing with your exhaustion. They're dealing with your emotional unavailability. That is not easy. Appreciate them for it. Thank them for it. Show them you see their sacrifice. Let me give you some red flags to watch out for. Signs that a relationship won't survive your medical career. Number one, your partner isn't interested in hearing about your struggles. If your partner doesn't want to hear about your day, doesn't want to know what you're dealing with, doesn't want to understand your world, that's a problem. They don't have to love hearing about it, but they do need to care. They need to be willing to listen. Number two, your partner is only interested in the money. If your partner is focused on your income, on what you can buy them, on the lifestyle you can provide, that's a red flag. They're not seeing you as a person, they're seeing you as a paycheck. Number three, your partner can't see through the doctor veil. If your partner sees you as a doctor first and a person second, that's troublesome. You need a partner who sees you as a human being who happens to work as a doctor, not as a doctor who happens to be a human being. Number four, your partner is constantly competing with your career. If your partner is always making you choose between them and work, that's not sustainable. They need to understand that medicine is demanding. They don't have to like it, but they can't constantly force you to choose. Number five, your partner doesn't have their own life. If your partner's entire identity is wrapped up in being with a doctor, that can be a problem. They need their own career, their own interests, their own friends. They need to be a whole person on their own, not someone who's dependent on you for everything. And number 6, you can't be yourself around them. If you feel like you have to perform, have to be on, have to be perfect around your partner, that's exhausting. You need someone you can be real with, someone you can be vulnerable with, someone who sees you at your worst and still loves you. If you're seeing these red flags, address them, talk about them, see if they can be resolved. Because if they can't, it might be time to reconsider the relationship. Because staying in a relationship with these red flags will destroy you. Let me talk about something that's been essential for me. Non-medical spaces. Places where I'm not the doctor. Places where medicine doesn't define me. For me, that's woodworking. There's a collaborative woodworking shop here in Toledo that I have access to. It's great. All non-medical folks, and all we do is talk about woodworking. Projects we're working on, techniques we're learning, tools we want. Nobody knows I'm a doctor, and nobody cares. I'm just Felix, who's building a table. That's an incredible feeling. I also used to play on a soccer team. We fell apart over the spring and haven't gotten back together, which is fine by me right now because I don't have the time for it. And my back and knee injuries would prevent me from playing anyways. But when I was playing, that was another non-medical space. I still follow German soccer, the Bundesliga and the national team, and I have a friend who's a fiber technician for a broadband company, and we connect over German soccer. Totally non-medical. We talk about the games, the players, the strategies, not medicine. I also code. I automate things with Home Assistant and Google Script. That's a non-medical skill, a non-medical interest, a non-medical space. And why does this matter? Because I personally do not derive my identity from being a doctor. Being a doctor is what I do. It's not who I am. And if all of your identity is wrapped up in medicine, you're vulnerable. When medicine goes badly, you fall apart. When you lose your medical career, you have nothing. But if you have other spaces, other interests, other parts of your identity, you're more resilient, you're more balanced, you're more sustainable. So here's my advice. Find non-medical spaces, find hobbies, find interests, find friends outside of medicine. Not to replace medicine, but to complement it, to give you balance, to remind you that you're more than your white coat. Let's talk about friendships, because romantic relationships aren't the only relationships that matter. I have friends inside of medicine, and I have friends outside of medicine, and they serve different purposes. My medical friends, well, they get it. They understand the stresses of the job. They understand burnout. They understand the emotional toll. We can easily read each other between the lines. I can say, rough day, and they know exactly what that means. I don't have to explain. We can decompress together. We can vent to each other. We can support each other through the shared struggle. That's valuable. But my non-medical friends provide perspective. They pull me out of the medical bubble. They remind me there's a world outside of medicine. But there's also more explaining that needs to happen. They don't naturally understand where I'm coming from. They see doctoring as an easy lifestyle that makes a ton of money. They only see the money. They don't see the cost. So I have to explain more. I have to translate my world into terms they can understand. But that's also valuable because it forces me to step outside of my own perspective. It forces me to see things differently. And you need both. You need people who get it without explanation. And you need people who pull you out of the medical world. That's called balance. When I'm coaching physicians on their relationships, I don't have a one-size-fits-all approach. Every person is different. Every relationship is different. We're all human and humans are messy. But here are the questions I ask to help them assess. Question 1. How much time are you actually spending together? Not physically in the same space, but actually together, engaged, present, connected? If the answer is not much, that's a problem. Question 2, how is that time being spent? Are you having real conversations? Are you connecting emotionally? Are you doing things you both enjoy? Or are you just existing in the same space while scrolling on your phones? Quality matters more than quantity, but you need some of both. Question 3, are you communicating about what you need? Or are you assuming your partner should just know? Most relationship problems come down to communication failures. You have to actually talk about what you need, and you have to listen to what your partner needs. Question 4, are you being intentional about the relationship, or are you just hoping it works out? Relationships don't maintain themselves. They require effort. They require intentionality. Question 5, do you have intimacy? And I don't just mean sexual intimacy. I mean emotional intimacy. Do you share your struggles? Do you share your fears? Do you share your hopes? Or are you keeping your partner at arm's length? Question 6, are you bringing your best self to the relationship? Or are you just bringing whatever is left after work? Your partner deserves more than just your leftovers. They deserve intentional time, intentional energy, intentional presence. Question 7, what are you willing to sacrifice for this relationship? Because you will have to sacrifice something. You can't have it all. You can't give 100% to your career and 100% to your relationship. Something has to give. What are you willing to let go of? What are you willing to deprioritize? And question 8, is this relationship adding to your life or draining from it? Relationships should energize you, not deplete you. Yes, they require work. Yes, they require effort, but they should also bring joy, connection, support. If a relationship is only draining you, something needs to change. The key in all of this is identifying opportunities to put effort into the relationship. Where can you invest? Where can you improve? Where can you show up better? And then you have to do it. Not waiting for the perfect time, not waiting until you're less busy, but doing it now. Let me give you some practical strategies, things you can implement today. Number 1, schedule date nights. Put them on the calendar, weekly if possible, bi-weekly at minimum. Protect that time like you would protect any other important appointment. Number 2, have a daily check-in. Even if it's just 10 minutes, a phone call, a video chat, a face-to-face conversation, something where you actually connect, where you ask, how are you really doing? And you listen to the answer. Number 3, create transition rituals. Something that helps you transition from work mode to relationship mode. Maybe it's changing out of your work clothes. Maybe it's a 10-minute walk before you go inside. Maybe it's a few minutes of meditation, but something that helps you leave work at work. Number 4, put your phone away during relationship time. No scrolling, no checking emails, no looking at messages. Be present. Actually be present. Number 5, express appreciation. Tell your partner what you appreciate about them, what they do that makes your life better, what you are grateful for. Don't assume they know. Say it out loud and do it regularly. Number 6, have the hard conversations. Don't avoid conflict. Don't sweep problems under the rug. Address them, talk about them, work through them. That's how relationships grow. Number 7, invest in non-medical activities together. Find hobbies you can do together. Find things that have nothing to do with medicine. Things that remind you that you're more than a doctor. And number 8, get support when you need it. Couples therapy isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of commitment. If you're struggling, get help. Don't wait until the relationship is on life support. All right, here's what I want you to understand. Medicine will take everything from you if you allow it, including your relationships. It's not intentional, it's just the nature of the profession. The demands are immense. The exhaustion is real. The emotional toll is significant. And if you're not intentional about protecting your relationships, they will die. Not dramatically, not with a big fight. They'll just fade away. You'll grow apart. You'll become strangers. And one day, you'll wake up and realize you've lost something important. So you have to be intentional. You have to prioritize. You have to put in the effort. And here's what that looks like. Schedule time together. Put it on the calendar. Protect it. Show up for it. Communicate. Tell your partner what you need. Listen to what they need. Have the hard conversations. Be present. Put your phone away. Actually engage. Actually connect. Express appreciation. Tell your partner what they mean to you. Don't assume they know. Invest in the relationship, not just financially, but emotionally through time, energy, attention. It's not about a 2-week vacation once a year. It's about the daily check-ins, the date nights, the intentional moments, the efforts. And here's the thing. You won't always get it right. You'll miss date nights sometimes. You'll be too exhausted sometimes. You'll mess up sometimes. And that's okay. What matters is that you keep trying, that you keep showing up, that you keep prioritizing. Because relationships are worth it. They're worth the effort. They're worth the sacrifice. They are what makes life meaningful. Not your career, not your achievements, but your relationships. The people you love, the people who love you. That's what matters. So protect that, prioritize them, invest in them, be intentional about them. Because if you lose them, all the career success in the world won't fill that void. I've been divorced twice. Both times, medicine played a role. Not the only role, but a significant role. Because I wasn't intentional. I wasn't prioritizing. I was letting medicine take everything. And that cost me. But I have learned. I'm in a relationship now that's different, that's intentional, that's sustainable, because I'm doing the work. We're both doing the work, and it's worth it. Your relationships matter. They matter for your happiness. They matter for your mental health. They matter for your ability to sustain your career. So protect them. Prioritize them, invest in them, schedule the date nights, have daily check-ins, communicate, be present, express appreciation, get support when you need it. Do the work. Because relationships don't maintain themselves. They require effort. They require intentionality, but they are worth it. Every bit of effort is worth it. This is In Search of 42. I'm Dr. Felix Becker, and your relationships are just as important as your career. Maybe even more important, so treat them that way. If this episode resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe. And leave a comment about your relationship struggles or successes. What's working for you? What are you struggling with? What questions do you have? And if you need coaching support around relationships or anything else, reach out. That's what I do here at 𝐶𝐸. I help physicians build sustainable careers and lives. Let me know what you want me to cover next, and I will see you in the next episode.